Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share and support the platform. Hey you guys, I wanted to come on here and make this video regarding Naturi Naughton's TV1 sit down where she was discussing her role in Notorious, and there was this incident that occurred where Lil Kim went on this press tour where she was discussing how Naturi never reached out to her in regards to her role, and Lil Kim was really trashing the role that Naturi played, and Naturi opened up about the situation on the interview today, and she also discussed the infamous KFC incident where she alleged that Kiely Williams threw a whole plate of hot KFC in her face. So if you guys want to see Kiely's response to it as well as Naturi opening up about the situation, please stay tuned for the rest of this video. This video is sponsored by CarMarshal. They have over 100,000 cars in their inventory. While you shop, they will negotiate for you. I'll provide the link for you to go click and search for your new vehicle today. Simply K Inc., your skincare solution for all of your skincare related problems. Simply K Inc. has a solution for you. Kickin.com, whether you need incense, personal hygiene products, candles, air fresheners, Kickin is your go-to. Please visit Kickin.com, use Paris Milan at checkout to receive 15% off. This video is also sponsored by Soulfully Scented LV. They are a black-owned hair care line that has very affordable products that are also very potent. Please go to soulfullyscentedlv.com. Naturi is a vocalist. She was part of the 3LW group, and she's also a well-known actress that stars in the series Power. There's a lengthy version of their group's history on the Impressive channel. You guys can go and watch her channel on it, but on this channel I don't really want to go too deep into their history. I just kind of want to touch and go. So she was in this trio, and their group formed in 1999. There were two other girls that were in the group, which was Adrienne Bailon as well as Kiely Williams. Now the group had its success in 2000 when they had the song No More Baby I'ma Do Right. The girls started to tour around and they were getting their name in the industry, but there were some issues that were going on behind the scenes that the public did not readily know about at the time. Naturi Naughton was the darker skinned black girl in the group, and she alleged that she was mistreated. She felt this mistreatment stemmed from her being darker skinned, as they told her a lot of the times that she just didn't have the look, that they wanted more of a Puerto Rican style look, and that they wanted Adrienne Bailon to fit that look in the group. But in this group in particular, Naturi was the one that was more so the strongest voice in the group. So realistically, they just didn't want her to sing the leads majority of the time. They did not want her to be the face of the group because she was darker skinned. So they weren't really giving her too many lead songs for her to sing, and she also discussed how they were trying to change up her image, and she felt as though she did not want to conform to that she wanted to remain her natural self. She didn't want to give into industry pressures like they do majority of darker skinned black women, and because of that it created a lot of tension within the group, especially because the manager of the group was Kiely's mother. She was the one controlling a lot of the things, and you could just even tell in the group that Kiely and Adrienne were more close to each other than they were Naturi. Naturi stated that one day it all reached a complete boiling point and it became physical, and I want to play you guys that clip.
It became Naturi's voice is too soulful. You're not crossover enough. Naturi, your look is not hot right now. Nobody's checking for a dark-skinned girl. Why would we put you in front? Everything that was working, it had reversed. The day when we officially broke up and I left the road, we had this huge fight, which I'm sure many of my fans that remember, because I was on 106 in Park talking about, people started talking about, oh, there was a two-piece chicken. She threw chicken in her face. It wasn't just about the chicken, but that did really happen. For the record, a lot of people ask me, did y'all really have a fight at KFC? Yes, we did. There was a driver sitting in our Suburban, the manager, who was also one of the girls' mother, sitting in the front. Kiely and Adrienne are sitting in the middle aisle, and I was in the back by myself. I said, I'm not the one who's trying to kick me out the group. Don't be mad that Wendy Williams or that the news is out, because it's true. And there were some names called, some profanities thrown. She turned around, Kiely, and threw the plate of food, mashed potatoes, chicken, whatever else was in there, in my face. And I got out the car and I was just like, I'm going home.
And Kiely actually had a dinner meal, like one of those big dinner plates with mashed potatoes.
Yeah, because she's 16, she snaps back. Go ahead.
Mashed potatoes.
Damn you all for eating
macaroni
like
and cheese. And chicken, like, the fried chicken.
Yes.
So it's in the big, dinner plate. And she steps onto the car, like the little lever to get in the car. Yeah. And then while we're arguing, me and Michelle, I'm talking to Michelle, and they're like, F you, you calling me all kind of bitches and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, y'all. Trying to ignore them because that's been going on for at least a week while you were on the promo tour.
Right.
So I say to Michelle, what did I say wrong? And all I know is out of the blue, Kiely just is like, F you. and then throws the plate dead in my face, in my eye. My eye was watering. It was a mess.
Well, you had mashed potatoes and gravy.
Mashed potatoes mashed all over my hair, my face, down my clothes. It was a mess. And right then and there, I was like, I don't have to take this. I don't have to take anybody trying to physically assault me, put me in harm. So I left.
Naturi's account of what has occurred has always been consistent from my opinion. I've seen her talk about this on other platforms before. And what I noticed is that in the past that Kiely and Adrian would deny that this happened. She's crazy. However, there was this sit-down interview that Naturi did on The Real where she talked with Adrian, and Adrian didn't apologize on The Real like how The Real's title lies and says that she apologized. Adrian referenced a time where she claimed that she apologized to her at some sort of separate event that occurred.
I think it's crazy because when I look at you, I really think about my teen years. We literally grew up together in bunk beds in New Jersey.
We did.
And I thank God for the time that I got to actually talk to you. A few years back, we had seen each other at an Us Weekly party.
I remember that.
See? Like, years ago.
Years ago, yeah.
And we sat down and we talked everything out, and I was able to apologize to you if ever, you know, there was a lot that went on in that time that now looking back is just like, we were so young and it was crazy.
Yeah.
And that I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, never meant any harm towards you. And that I think you're talented and beautiful.
If I know for a fact that I did not witness somebody getting physically assaulted, I wouldn't have even apologized, but that denotes guilt that she was present when this occurred. After this incident occurred, Naturi said that she was forced to leave the group and she struggled a lot. She said that she didn't have the finances and she chose to enroll in school and she had student loans. After Naturi was forced out the group, they tried to replace her. However, it didn't really work out, but they did go on to have other gigs. They did the Cheetah Girls. Recently, Kiely has been very vocal about the KFC incident, which she claims that it didn't happen and that Naturi's making it up. So I want to read you guys some of her response about it. Somebody asked her if Naturi being dark-skinned played a role in her not being in the group. And Kiely said, I don't know if I'm gonna play the role in not being in the group. I don't know why Adrian apologized. My request would be to get everyone to stop thinking she's racist. But I did not apologize for something that I didn't do. I would get the both of them. They know it. That's why I would probably never be a guest on our show. It would get way too real. The promise is play a please.
So I'm over here being a mom, literally bothering no one. And I hear Naturi Naughton tells all what really happened at KFC. Okay, I let that shit go. It's probably like grabby little splashy soundbite, right? Roll your eyes, move on. But then I hear that not only did I pie her in the face with chicken and mashed potatoes, we left her on the side of the road. First of all, no, we didn't. And second of all, why? Why would you need to make up new lies? Were the old ones not working anymore? I don't see the point. I'm not in the entertainment industry anymore. I'm a mom. I'm over here. You are on a hit television show. Why do you need this?
So as I stated earlier in this video, that after they forced her to leave the group, that she started going to school and she had to take out student loans and she began a career in acting because she was pretty much blackballed from the music industry. As she started to strengthen up her acting skills, there was a film that she played in 2009 named Notorious, and she played the role of Lil Kim. Lil Kim was very offended that Naturi played her role, and she talked about this on this interview that she did on the Big Boy radio show.
And even with the girl that played me, it's like, I never talked to her. She never made an initiative to even try to come to me and say, well, look, Kim, I need your blessings for this. Never.
And usually when somebody's doing a movie like that, they at least want to roll with the person.
A seasoned actress would do that. I mean,
Have you seen her yet?
I've never seen her.
I would never take on a role of a real life person that is alive and well and not try to speak with them and reach out. So for the record, for all those interviews or things that people have heard where they said, oh, Naturi didn't even try to get in touch with Lil Kim, lies, lies. Let's clear the record. At the time, there was a manager, I think, that was managing Kim. I think his name was Un. I called, I left multiple voicemails. The director of the film, George Chilton, was like, you know, we're going to put you guys together so you can ask questions. So I'm thinking, great. I never forget, I was at the production office in Brooklyn, New York. Kim comes off the elevator. I happened to be there for rehearsal. Huge, beautiful fur. She looks like, I was like, oh my gosh, the queen is here. She walks right by me with her crew, goes into the director's office. He closed the door. all I hear is, what the f? Blah, 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 blah. They're arguing, they're yelling, it gets heated. And I was like, I hope this is not about me. But it was, because I guess there was some miscommunication about how the casting process, but again, I'm just an actress. I was just hired to do a part. So I was hoping and praying. I reached out via phone and tried that time in person. Maybe my look had something to do with it. Again, it started to replay the memories of 3LW saying like, you're not good enough, or because I was, I guess, darker than she thought the character should have been.
Lil Kim seems very conceited to me. She kind of seems like she will embellish a story. I'm more inclined again to believe Naturi in this situation. Lil Kim has been very vain about her looks. Naturi was the perfect fit. Physically speaking, I feel like she did well with the role. She has the look of vintage 1990s Kim, where Lil Kim has the darker chocolate skin. She had that mole going on. She looked like Lil Kim back in the day, and Lil Kim hates that version of herself. She hates the skin that she had. She hates her facial features, her nose. Lil Kim hated every single iota of her being back in those days, which is why she went to the effing chop shop and got the Frankenstein special, because she looks completely distorted. Like, she just looks uncomfortable. Her body, she destroyed her whole face. She was perfect the way that she was, but she did not see perfection in herself at all. And as a result, she projected that hate that she had within herself onto Naturi, which is why she went on this campaign to make it seem like Naturi was just disrespectful. It's like, no, the only disrespect that you felt was Naturi's natural skin that she embraced. You saw this darker skinned black woman wasn't over there getting her face sewn up and nip one, pearl two on her face, but that's what you had to do. And she wanted to portray you as her natural self, and that made you feel offended. She got a severe nose job. She has this massive bleaching going on, and she just looks ridiculous. She doesn't look like herself. And so when Naturi stated that she felt as though Lil Kim didn't like the skin tone that was portraying her, I agree with her. Some of these black women in the industry, when they talk about biopics that they want, what I've noticed is that some of them will want women who are mixed or lighter skinned to portray them. I've seen that happen with Aretha Franklin before, where she said she wanted Halle Berry to portray her. And I also heard of that with Simone Biles, where she said she wanted Zendaya to portray her in her own biopic. But Lil Kim has some issues going on to where she has a self-identity crisis in an interview where she stated that she feels like she's a Spanish girl trapped in a black girl's body. So I want you guys to hear her discuss that in this interview that she did.
Now, there was recently some controversy or something online. You said a comment about feeling like a Spanish girl trapped in a black girl's body. Like, was that mistake?
Why is that controversy though?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, because people are stupid and you're all dumb, and people are they just like to start shit when they can't find anything. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, I grew up around nothing but Latinas and Latino men in my family and in my life. Like, they don't know that. I don't give a fuck either. Like, don't, like, it's stupid. It's just people want to just have something to say. So, yeah, you know, I'm very familiar with the culture, and I'm familiar with other cultures. Maybe that's how I was feeling that day too. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's just, you know, I identify with certain cultures, which is a good thing. And, you know, my daughters also have Latina, and I don't think that's by chance. You know, it's just always been so around me. So
The internet acting up again, as usual.
But, you know, you just gotta just laugh at their asses because they're stupid.
So again, when Naturi stated that she felt that it was a problem because of her skin, I believe her 100%, because if it was any other dark-skinned black woman, Lil Kim would have had a problem with it, because Lil Kim does not like darker skin. She did not like herself when she was darker skinned. So why would she like Naturi playing that role? These type of women who have these color-struck mindsets don't mind it when a woman like J-Lo expresses interest in wanting to portray them, even though they look nothing like them. They would prefer to go and employ a mixed race or non-black person to portray them, even though they do not look anything like them or represent the character that they need to portray, but all of it to uphold an image. But I'm glad that Naturi didn't let this internalize within herself to where she started to feel inferior. Like, man, every time I turn around, they're always making an issue out of my dark skin tone. And this is something I feel that some of them come from families like Naturi, where the mother is lighter skinned and the father is dark skinned. And it's like sometimes these lighter skinned mothers don't know how to prepare them for colorism. But I feel like it's important for them to educate themselves on colorism, colorist terms, people people that are colorists so that they know how to react to these situations, and I feel like Naturi reacted appropriately. Yes, she could have stomped Kiely out, because if it was me and she threw them hot potatoes and tomatoes in my face, child, let me tell you, me and Kiely, it would have been me and her. But Naturi is a class act to me, and I feel like she handled the situation with grace. I really hope that she would have gotten them arrested for what they did, but you know, I feel as though her telling her story is better than any arrest, because this is what they want dark-skinned Black women to do, is consistently be silenced. They want you to accept abuse. They want you to always be inflicted with these wounds, and they don't want you to ever make a peep about it. And when you do, they're going to call you a colorism crybaby and that you're a victim. But no, you're not a victim, you're a victor, because look at Naturi. She used the pain that they inflicted upon her as motivation. Now you can tell Karma has been eating the F out of Kiely. She hasn't been in the industry at all. I know she's married with a child, but she has to be effing miserable to know that this dark-skinned Black woman that your whole family hated, that you allegedly threw a whole hot plate of KFC in her effing face, and you felt so elitist compared to her because of your mixed looking phenotype and all the privileges that came along with that. And for you to just be a regular, just dusty bum out here, like you're not really doing much of anything but sitting back on Instagram just hating on Naturi and her success, you have to look pretty crazy right now. Like, you could have been in her position, you could have been doing way more things in the industry, you could have been booked and busy, but you chose to be bitter and a bully, acting like the mean girls. And you could just tell by her response that she's lying. In my opinion, I really do feel like she's lying, because the thing is that Naturi's story has remained the same. She hasn't switched up. I'm sure it makes Kiely feel salty that every chance Naturi gets to speak about this, she is, and she's not going to be backed in a corner like you guys forced her to be. But it's great, because had you guys never forced her out of the group, she probably would have still been trying to sing, and she wouldn't have been this great actress that she is now, where she's starring in roles that you guys never wanted her to star in because you didn't think that she was capable of doing so. Yes, you are going to face obstacles, and so when other people see that you're winning, it makes them feel uncomfortable, like, why are you still at the top when I did everything I could to try to make you fail and you still aren't doing that? And Naturi's a great example of that. You know, Kiely being such a hater that she is, she always wanted her to fail. And even at a point in time, Adrian felt the same way. You know, Adrian is not innocent in that. I'm sure she was a willing participant when it was happening, but now because people are starting to get wind of it, Adrian's trying to, you know, change up her image and back off of it. Naturi is what you can turn into if you do not allow society to beat you into submission to where you start to hate yourself. I think this is also a great lesson for darker skinned women to understand that stop being the quota. Stop being the dark skinned token girl that they need you to fit into the group, because I think that's what also happened with Naturi, is that they never really wanted her, but they did need someone to represent a darker skinned girl so that they could be like, well, hey, look at this group. It's not just all light skinned mixed women. There's a dark skinned Black woman here, but you saw the treatment that she got. And I really thank Naturi for speaking out about this, because it opens up a conversation of colorist related violence that we often don't hear about. We just hear about people talking about words that people have said against darker skinned Black people, but what you often hear is sometimes lighter skinned people will say, well, you know, when I was a young girl on the schoolyard, dark skinned girls used to pull my long hair and all that kind of stuff, but you rarely hear darker skinned people talk about the opposite. I thank Naturi for opening this dialogue, and I hope it encourages other dark skinned women to know that they can do it. Don't let these women like Kiely feel like they look better, so they are better than you, and allow them to punk you and put their hands on you. You have to check them on the spot, you have to document this, and you have to also be willing to sue them if necessary, to put your foot down and to let them know that you are not one to be toyed with. Kudos to Naturi for consistently keeping this story straight on TV1. Please let me know if you guys saw it. Please let me know how you feel about Lil Kim basically lying on Naturi based on what Naturi said with the whole Notorious film. Let me know, are you team Naturi, or are you team Kiely, or are you team Kim, or are you team Naturi? Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!